Okay, so in this reflective practice video, we're going to talk about why I chose short film as opposed to the other three options I was presented at the start of my level 6 project. But before we get into the reasons why I chose narrative short film, I want to just take a little bit of a step back and just kind of explain why I made the choices I made, give you a little bit of context and just talk about like what I want to get out of this course and my career goals going forward, like where I see myself in a few years and like how I can use this project to get myself there. So after completing this course, I kind of want to get into video editing and like narrative film video editing, specifically on feature films. For me, that's the dream, is to become a full-time senior editor at, say, for example, Disney or like a larger production company working on features. Because video editing is something that's always interested me. I've always been quite interested in how a film is put together and cut together. So naturally, I think short film was probably the go-to option for me. Now I do recognise that I have kind of got a ways to go before I can get to that point and actually reaching, you know, an editor's position in the film industry, especially on feature films because it's a very competitive market. So I kind of want to use this project as a stepping stone and kind of setting us on the right path to getting there and achieving that. Which is kind of one of the reasons as well I'm doing this in a video format as opposed to written blogs. I find it a lot easier to talk to a camera than I do to write. And with me wanting to go into video editing, I see it as a passive way of improving my editing skills. So if I'm constantly editing from now until reflective practice is handed in, I'll be a better editor at the end than when I started because I've had more experience just practicing cutting things and trying out little different effects and stuff like that. In the meantime, while I'm on this course as well, I do want to use it as an excuse to get some real editing and directorial experience. And I want to try and reach out to professionals in the industry and that are already like established and seeing if they'd be willing to work with me and give me a real experience of how the industry works. It lets me focus on the roles that I'm more interested in and wanting to get into. So it would allow me to focus on becoming an editor and focusing on the editing of the project. Then we've got that same problem. I think we need the two shot because if you look at these two, they're facing the same direction. But also give us some experience directing as well, because that's another role I am interested in, but I have little experience with, because most of my projects I've shot on a smaller scale and it's kind of been a one-man band and I've worked on them myself. I kind of want to use this project as if it was an actual film that I'd been commissioned to do. So I'd treat it as if someone has come to me with a budget and been like, right, you're making this. So therefore I'd want to go outsource and reach out to professionals, professional camera ops if I can. Obviously we've got tea and coffee at the top. If you need anything, you let me know, yeah? Obviously I'd have to go out and find ways and means to find these individuals and convince them somehow to get on the project. But I want to get an authentic feel for how a film set runs.
And action!
So I'm a bit more prepared when I do step into that role, that I know how the process actually works and I can kind of hit the ground running when I do get my first break or my first big break into the industry.
Drops. So the one thing with the actual drop, and this is just the VFX artist that I spoke to, because he's going to basically do like a bullet wound opening up in the back of Damon's head. So when you fall, you need to fall forward.
Another reason I do want to reach out and try and work with some professionals as well is to also build my network, because I think networking is a massive part of the film industry, and sometimes it's not necessarily what you know, but who you know, and you can get your big break from anywhere, and if you give off a good experience with someone, they're likely to bring you back for another project.
Where did you go for your research?
Yeah. What kind of films were you watching?
Shaving Ryan's Private.
But yeah, networking is massive, and I wouldn't take my word for it as well. There's quite a few industry professionals that say similar things. There's a guy called Matt Alonso who in an interview was discussing the importance of networking, and I kind of just want to let the clip speak for itself.
I think the biggest thing I wish somebody would have told me about the industry when I was younger was how big connections were. When I came out, my head was so far down because I thought that if I worked harder, my career would move faster. I believed that wholeheartedly when I was younger. And as I got older, I realized that you can have the best work in the world, but if you don't have the contacts or you don't have, good relationships with people, they don't want to work with you, you're not going to work. Yeah, just genuine contacts and just people, just keeping everybody at arm's length and letting them keep you at arm's length as well, and being able to be accessible for You just never know what these contacts may lead, and where vice versa, where my contact may lead them. So
the main point Matt was trying to say is he kind of kept everyone at arm's length, which really worked against him in getting future work. Now, it's all important making sure you get work done and you're able to knuckle down when needed. However, making genuine connections with people and having those contacts there to call upon when you need is a massive benefit, I believe, in this industry. And I think that's the kind of crux of what Matt was trying to say, is if you can't really interact with people very well or build connections with the people that you work with, you're not going to get as much work.
Yeah, it's for my final uni project. So excited.
They're going to do a period showing of it here because they do 40s nights, so they're going to get loads of people down to watch it, and and it's got a festival as well. So it's,
so we'll be able to see it as
oh
well.
yeah, absolutely. You'll get a copy of it.
So back to the main topic at hand, why I chose short film instead of documentary or commercial video. Now, I think the first reason should be pretty self-explanatory. I want to be a feature film editor, so therefore I should probably, edit a film. So that's the easy one, we'll get that one out of the way. So another reason I picked short film over the other two is I see it as, like, as I stated previously, a stepping stone to getting where I need to be. Because starting on a short film is actually a valid career path to getting onto editing features. Quite a lot of notable names have actually started out on short films and have managed to take their editing career to feature lengths. Some notable names are Sally Menke, who is Quentin Tarantino's go-to editor for his feature films. She started out on short films and then managed to progress into producing things like the Kill Bill franchise, Inglourious Basterds, and Pulp Fiction. Another notable name was Angus Wall, who started out on short films and music videos, and then he went on to edit for David Fincher on his feature films. He actually went on to win an Academy Award for his editing on The Social Network and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. This shows that starting out on a short film is actually a valid pathway into getting into the career I want to go into. So it's something I intend to do, is using this project, as I've stated previously, as a stepping stone to getting where I need to be. Also, in an interview with Film Courage, there's an award-winning filmmaker named Kim Edelman who actually made a career just doing shorts.
The people who had the most fun at film festivals are the short filmmakers, because nothing's really writing on it. It's not like there's a lot of investment. You're just there, you've made something you're proud of, and you're like, hello world, here I am, I'm now a filmmaker. And that's the great thing about shorts too. It's that nice bridge from, I'd love to be a filmmaker, to actually being a filmmaker. Fastest way to do that is to make a short film. You can make a lot of small things to kind of experiment and do stuff and find your voice that you don't necessarily need to show the world, right? That it could just be something for you to experiment and to find what you are as a filmmaker, to exercise your filmmaking muscles. It doesn't have to be shared with the world.
Kind of goes on to explain that short film is actually a place to experiment and make the mistakes that you wouldn't be able to afford to make in feature films. So I think it's a great starting point for myself as an aspiring film editor to take on a challenge, and if I need to make some mistakes, I'll make those mistakes when the budget's small.
Yeah.
Okay, turning over.
No, it's nice live action.
All right, okay. Action.
She also goes on to state that short film bridges the gap between wanting to be a short filmmaker or wanting to be a filmmaker and actually being a filmmaker, which I think is an excellent point, because you can say you're going to do something all you like, but until you do it, you aren't that thing you're claiming to be. So to summarize, by choosing this project, I'm not only just learning to edit, I'm actually setting the groundwork for my career in this industry.